Let's go. Master Swag King coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also make sure to hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Captain America 4, aka Captain America New World Order, but as they call it now, Captain America Brave New World. So this movie was announced after the finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, okay? Now, this has been a movie where it has gone through not only just name changes constantly, multiple reshoots, multiple test screenings, okay? Now, what I'm going to say here is going to go back to what I originally said about this movie in terms of the reshoots and test screenings. So, back in the day, a movie called Deep Blue Sea had some test screenings, and people did not like the character of Susan, right? And it was so bad in test screenings that the fans of the movie at the time who saw the test screenings wanted her killed off, okay? Now, keep in mind, test screenings for a movie like Deep Blue Sea that came out good, and I really enjoyed that movie, ended up actually working out for it. But how many times have you watched a movie that has been confirmed to have bad test screenings ever turn out very good? This movie has had bad test screening after test screening after test screening. And the number one comments that people have made throughout all of them is that it's boring and the story's not good. The acting sucks. Man,
let me give you just a little quick rundown of how this whole thing happened. So they shot the movie the first time, right? And then Test King was like, "Hey, yo, this show's ass." So they was like, "Okay, let's go ahead and fix some of the scenes with reshoots." And then they fixed some of the scenes with reshoots, and then test screening again. It's like, "Hey, yo, what the fuck? This shit's still ass." So there's like, "Oh, maybe we should just go in there and reshoot the entire film. Maybe that's our best course of action here." And the next thing you know, the budget is almost $400 million. So,
which we'll be getting into right now. So this is from, Fandom Wire. I got some good stuff every once in a while. This was the best one I could find for right now because, as you guys know, Captain America 4 is coming out in 2025. And this is a movie that is coming out in an MCU where basically after anything Deadpool, Wolverine, and potentially an Avengers movie is not going to probably be all that good. The MCU has been on a downward trajectory for quite some time at this point. And this movie's budget has been revealed, and I shit you people not. This movie has a bigger budget than Fast X, and Fast X had a cast of like Jason Momoa, Brie Larson, Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris. This movie has just about the biggest budget as like The Force Awakens, Avengers movies. How in the world could you make profit off this? It has to make $1 billion just to break even. Break even. That means not making money. Okay, I want people to understand this about movies. When these studios are making a movie, breaking even means you lost. Whenever they hear my movie broke even, that is an L. Anyone that tries to make it sound like not an L, you are retarded and you should probably be aborted. You are stupid.
I want to put this kind of in perspective for those listening and watching at home. You can make Godzilla -1 42 times for the amount of budget that is taken to make Captain America 4. 42 times.
It just shows you the desperation of Disney to really not give up on this movie. I mean, at this point, as soon as they got into this reshoot, now they have to put it out to try to recruit something.
After this many reshoots, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Disney has, and I'm not even joking, they legitimately have 5 Marvel projects right now that are in development that they probably arguably should have gotten rid of at this point. You have obviously this movie, you have the Blade movie, which is a disaster. Daredevil Born Again, the Disney Plus series, they have to reshoot the entire thing after shooting half of it. So that's another one.
Kevin Feige walked in and said, "This is so bad, started from scratch." It was that bad.
Yeah. And they were already halfway done with shooting the entire thing. Ironheart is another one that's been in developmental hell. They actually finished shooting it, but it's so bad they can't release it without reshoot. So it's just
that's bad. That's horrible.
And they finished shooting Ironheart, I think, almost 2 years ago. That's how bad this whole thing is. So,
but nobody wants Ironheart. Like
no one, like absolutely nobody wants it, but they're going to give it to you anyway because that's just how they roll. And then this Agatha television show that sounded like a good idea 4 years ago when everyone was all in on the meme, and now they're trying to turn it into an actual show that people want to see, and they're realizing we got nothing here. We have quite literally a E-list Marvel character, and her co-star is Aubrey Plaza, and that's the show. 9
and people
episodes.
wonder why these obscure characters don't do well because guys, these guys aren't even popular in comics. People don't have to understand. Generally, yes, you can give underrated characters some shine, but if you're at the point where you're giving D-list characters solo projects and you wonder why nobody watches, gee, I could only wonder why. Man, when you start digging down the rabbit hole that far, you got nothing. Also, keep in mind, with Captain America 4, as people know, I think this was the only show that the MCU did somewhat okay with Falcon Winter Soldier. I didn't hate this show. It had issues with it, but I think it was the worst one they ever put out. I think personally, to me, my own personal opinion, this is the best show that they had put out. But that's not saying much considering the rest of them are pretty much dog shit. But that's the problem too, is even in this, here I factor in, when they swapped Captain America from comics, right, to, become what Falcon was. Like, Falcon became Captain America. People remember, they swapped that back. That all different Marvel stuff, they swapped that back. The MCU literally went, hey, we'll try out something in the comics people didn't like for the movies and see how they like it. Gee, man, look how that worked. And yes, Harrison Ford, he is Red Hulk. The original guy, Thaddeus Ross, who was portrayed by William Hurt, he passed away. They recasted. Keep in mind, this is how shitty Disney is. They recasted William Hurt as Thaddeus Ross within like a month. But for Black Panther, we can't get a recast. They recasted him in less than a month, people. He had just passed away because the thing that people said was, well, T'Challa just passed away. You got to give it time. They didn't give this one time. The motherfucker just died within like a span of like 2 months. What? Just the amount of stupid decisions Disney's made, the amount of reshoots, test screenings. There's just no way this ends up being good. There's a world where they offer Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. a literal truckload of money to come back because, bruh, they ain't making money off these characters. There's no character people are behind on in this franchise right now. Yep. Who's the biggest player? Spider-Man, and that's by another company.
Well, here's the other problem, right? The other problem is that movies aside, let's completely take that out of the picture. For the last 10, 15 years in the comic books, they've been propping up all of these characters that they were told for 10, 15 years are not popular. Nobody likes these characters. Nobody likes Ironheart. Nobody likes Black Captain America. Nobody likes Moon Girl. Nobody likes all these dog crap characters you guys are pushing in the comments. And what happened? It's like, they spent years going, these Nazis on the internet are all wrong. Don't they know that Miss Marvel is on all the Amazon best seller lists? Look at all the Amazon lists and whatnot. So then what happened? They went ahead and made Miss Marvel into a character for not only Disney Plus, but the movies as well. And what happened? Miss Marvel, the Disney Plus series, the lowest drawing Disney Plus series out of all of them. What happened with the movie? Worst drawing MCU film ever. And now Iman Vellani, who played Miss Marvel, has absolutely no acting credits set up whatsoever outside of Miss Marvel because they hired her for one reason, and outside of her playing a version of Miss Marvel that objectively nobody likes, she has absolutely no career whatsoever in Hollywood.
Keep in mind, Miss Marvel's a comic book character. They've constantly rebooted her. I think it was last year or earlier this year. Remember that announcement? Even Discussing Film put it out because they do comic news more often now. Remember how they announced Miss Marvel was going to die in the comic books? Oh, I just want you guys to guess, did they bring her back? And yes, spoiler, yes, they did. They announced her dying. They gave her a fucking special issue or whatever. Then they announced that she was going to be returning as a mutant with a 4-issue miniseries that I guarantee you no one fucking talked about. And no one read that shit. I didn't read that shit. I wasn't interested. Just saying.
And it's clear that whole kill her off to make her a mutant is them trying to bring in the Fox Marvel universe with having X-Men with one of their own characters.
No way it makes profit with that kind of budget. Even Harrison Ford's Red Hulk can't save Captain America 4, as Disney reportedly spends Avengers level money on the movie. I want people to really understand, when you do a movie math and you're in this kind of stuff like I've been in for a very, very long time, the surface number you see a movie make is disingenuous. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of different factors how you make money when you're at a movie, okay? So, theaters take their cut. International costs. People might be like, what's international costs? International costs is when the movie gets released in like UK, Russia. You can't just put your movie in other people's territory for free. They obviously take their cut, you know?
And the international ones usually take a bigger cut than the American ones because the laws are a lot shiftier in those countries than they are here in the United States.
So let's use an example for a movie here. So when the media was reporting that Fast X, a movie with a budget of almost $400 million, took in 720 something million dollars, and they said it made profit. Does that make sense to you guys? $300 million budgeted movies have to make $1 billion just to break even, but they reported that one had 720 and it made profit. They're lying to you. Stop believing them. They're fucking lying.
You know what the tell is when they're really lying? Because Fast X then came out on Peacock like literally a week after its theatrical release, which means that they needed that money because they lost so much of it.
Just saying.
That's the way you can always
Go ahead.
You can always tell how a movie's doing on how quickly it goes to video on demand. If it's on video demand within a week or 2 weeks, you know that movie is not making it in the box office, and now they need to get people watching it while it's still fresh and new.
Also, keep in mind, marketing budgets for big blockbuster tentpoles range from like 60 to like 120 million. That means this movie is not just $375 million. This is before marketing is factored in. Marketing is going to be at least $60 to $80 million. At least $60 million.
The rule of thumb has always been at least 2.5 times whatever the production budget is. Yeah. But then that was like kind of the old model, because since then we've had inflation screw up everything, the introduction of these streaming services, and kind of like the destruction of physical media too. So it's at the point now where it's probably even way, way worse than that. Now you probably have to go like 3, maybe 3.5. With some of these films now, with all the factors like going into it, because like I said, 375. Put it to you this way: we ran a story about 2 years ago about how Black Panther needed $1 billion because of all the reshoots and everything that was attached to that. Now, I believe the final number for that Black Panther movie was somewhere about 280. So if this movie is at 350, 375, and Black Panther needed to make $1 billion with all its cost. Now you're talking about a film that probably has to make what, 1.1, 1.2?
It basically has to make like $1 billion, 200 million and change. And keep in mind, theater cuts, international theater costs, all that stuff goes into play. Only $1 billion box office business could prevent Anthony Mackie's Captain America 4 from making a loss for the studio.
I mean, the first Black Panther movie did $1.3 billion, and I think maybe they think that. You think that, well, maybe if we just put another black person out there, the black people are going to go run out to the theater the same way. It's like there's so many things working against this film. First of all, it's a character that no one liked in the comic books. So that's a number one issue that you put all this money behind. Two, it's a Captain America movie without Captain America. You don't have Chris Evans attached to this project at all. Anthony Mackie is significantly less likable than Chris Evans. Now, Chris Evans has said some things too that kind of come off as dickish too. But people who are in the industry,
Captain America puts butts in seats. He's the box office draw.
I said he said some dickish things, but I mean, Anthony Mackie is kind of like open secret. The guy's a complete dick, right? I even showed you like the video of like him getting into it with the Falcons fan that one time, where he was calling him out because the Falcons fan was trolling him at a football game. It's like this guy has a notorious reputation of just being an asshole. So he's not a likable actor. He's not a likable character. There's really no other names attached to this that anyone will really truly care about. You're basically betting your entire future on this, is that Black people are going to somehow go out there and support a Black Captain America movie that's going to have so much social engineering and social justice stroked into the storyline, because it's a Black man representing America. We all know what that means, right? It's like, okay, good luck getting $1.3 billion worth of people into the movie theater to sit.
Keep in mind, remember, I want people to really understand this. Keep in mind, the media, and I don't typically agree with them, but they had pointed this out, that characters that people barely know about are hard to get people to be interested in, to go actually pay money for. You know, people on the internet are like, well, that sounds like a really good idea. What are you, okay, so what sounds like a good idea versus what are you actually going to go to the theater and spend money on, okay? Now, to be fair, Captain America does have name value to it, but when people find out it's not Chris Evans' Captain America, that after the opening weekend, numbers are going to tank. It's not the Captain America people remember. You know, that specific example doesn't technically apply to this one because it says Captain America. But when you watch because this thing, people are going to watch the trailers, right? Those trailers have millions and millions of views. They'll know it's not Chris Evans. And that's going to be a big problem. Is this movie is essentially going to basically die by word of mouth. If it's confirmed a piece of shit, well, it's done. If it's confirmed to be not as bad and okay, you might have some legs there. But remember, it won't make profit. The movie's budget is too big. The marketing is way too high. Even if it is considered like good by word of mouth, there's no way this film draws a audience big enough to make it over $1 billion. No way.
And what movie is gonna get? Now, here's the thing, because there's two ways to look at this too.
True.
Now, genuine word of mouth, a film that's being shut down twice with test screenings because it's so awful, is not gonna get genuine word of mouth. Now, when the film comes out, it may get like 90-something% on like Rotten Tomatoes, but that's only because the critics don't want to go against a movie that has a black lead and one of those, like they don't want to view like one of those alt-right Nazis. Like,
remember Black Panther dropped? Yeah, remember Black Panther dropped, and people were afraid to call it bad in their opinion or different their opinion because they thought it would be called racist. Like that, like it's crazy to think about. Imagine when this is going to come out in 2024. This is even worse now, actually. Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford, starring Captain America 4, is heading for big trouble after latest reports on its budget. The film has an Avengers-level budget of $350 to $375 million, according to reports.
That is just fucking nuts, dude.
At least $75 to $100 million of this budget comes from the extensive reshoots of a film, which is bad news for Kevin Feige's Marvel. Now, people have to factor in. This is something that people always keep talking about. Okay. When a film does reshoots, do you people generally think they're going to reshoot this film and get paid nothing? They're not doing this out of the goodness of their own hearts. They want to get paid. Yes, reshoots are baked into a film's budgets, but that is like for like minor shit that most films probably go through in general. This is not like reshooting an entire scene, an entire action scene where you have to bring back like the stunt guys, the set coordinators, and all that shit. Okay, it's not the same thing.
No, you don't bake into the cost of reshooting your entire movie because it's ass. Nobody bakes that into the cost
extensive reshoots. They've made sure they've cleared extensive reshoots.
Nobody prepares me. Okay, don't worry, guys. We got to bake into the budget to shoot this movie twice.
Does anyone know where this is being shot?
I think it's in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I was going to say, if they were going to try to pull like they did with using the UK for its tax credits, would explain why they're trying to get the movie out, because to get the tax credits, they have to put the movie out.
Yeah.
Some fans got to see Anthony.
It's filming in Atlanta right now, so they're down there somewhere down there with reshoots and whatnot.
Some fans got to see Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson meeting Harrison Ford's President Thunderbolt and Ross in Captain America 4 at San Diego Comic-Con. However, the reports coming out from the film are not good news for Kevin Feige or Marvel. The film reportedly spent a budget of $350 to $375 million. The inflated budget comes after the extensive reshoots that were ordered after the film received terrible scores during test screening. Keep in mind, there have been multiple test screenings throughout the past couple of years for this movie. Okay, it's not just been one. In the film titled Brave New World, Sam Wilson looks to become a worthy successor of Steve Rogers, donning the Captain America mantle. Besides Ford and Mackie, the film will also star Liv Tyler, Sharia Haas, Tim Blake Nelson, Carl Lumbly, and Danny Ramirez. Julius Ona made a name for himself with critically acclaimed films like The Cloverfield Paradox and Lucy?
Which, by the way, The Cloverfield Paradox is one of the worst movies ever.
If you remember what happened with that one, they tricked people into thinking that it was a Cloverfield movie when it actually wasn't. That was a movie that they showed the trailer for during the Super Bowl and told people this movie is going to be available after the game. And people saw that movie because it had Cloverfield in it, Turned out it was a movie that was like a sci-fi movie that nobody wanted because it was terrible. And they decided, hey, it'd be a great marketing tactic if we put this on Netflix and call it the Cloverfield Paradise. And what they did is that they added a couple scenes in between there to make it seem like it was a Cloverfield movie. It was just a failed sci-fi movie that studio wanted to dump away. And they duped people into thinking, oh, yeah, this is Cloverfield.
The latter of which featured at the 2019 Sundance Festival. Keep in mind, if anybody that's a film fan says my movie got great reviews from a film festival, that's usually that means that movie's dog shit. However, he is clearly struggling to adapt when pulled into the Marvel scheme of things. Ona's film, Captain America Brave New World, was earlier delayed to February 2025 due to extensive reshoots. Before Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie came back for the reshoots, the budget of this Marvel feature was already a whopping $275 million. The new reports coming from World of Real suggest that Disney put in a crazy amount of anywhere between 75 and 100 million for the reshoots. The final budget will therefore reach the $350 to $375 million mark. For comparison, it is almost the same budget as that of Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame, both star-studded Marvel features. It is highly doubtful whether Mackie's new Cap or Ford's involvement as Red Hulk could bring fans rushing into the theaters. In the current scenario, $1 billion or $2 billion in the box office returns is a distant dream for a Marvel feature, with the exception of Deadpool and Wolverine. Dallin Mooson and Malcolm Spellman wrote the earlier drafts of the film, but their screenplay received negative scores during test screening. Matthew Orton, who wrote an episode of Moon Knight, was brought in to pen additional material. According to World of Real, Orton scrapped Mooson and Spellman's big chunk of screenplay and wrote some important scenes. The fact that they're hiring other Disney MCU writers to write on this movie, that even goes to show you that's not good either.
It's going to be a Frankenstein of a movie. It's going to be two different storylines trying to be pieced together.
Fans fear that the film is heading for a catastrophic disaster. All these troubles, including the reshoots and the inflated budget, are not painting a great picture for the film. Fans on X were not happy with the budget of Captain America Brave New World. One fan shared that the film couldn't possibly make any profit with this kind of massive budget. Another fan blamed the studio for such an inflated budget. One fan calculated that the film would need to do a business of $1 billion at the box office to break even. One fan shared that the budget was not surprising considering the constant reshoots. The fan deemed it a waste of money as the end product might not be that good. To recoup the budget and make a profit, another fan also agreed, sharing that $350 million was a lot of money to lose. Some of the fan reactions to read, so that those are all the fan reactions. Let's go down through. Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. This is awful. And keep in mind, MCU movies have not had a good track record of being good for a while, outside of Spider-Man 3 and people said Guardians 3.
Well,
and
ever since Endgame, the only film that I think it's done over $1 billion was Spider-Man. And you have to keep in mind, that was Sony. So Sony got the overwhelming majority of those profits. I think Marvel only got 25% of the profits for that film. So that was a Sony hit. So yeah, Marvel quite literally hasn't had one since Endgame. And that was 5 years ago.
At the San Diego Comic-Con in April, Kevin Feige appeared confident about the movie as he compared the film with one of the best Marvel movies out there. Feige shared that fans still talk about Captain America: The Winter Soldier because it is a relatively grounded action thriller via The Hollywood Reporter. He believed that the upcoming movie would also follow along the lines of the Russo brothers' 2014 flick.
Yeah, but Captain America: The Winter Soldier had competent writing, good characters, and a story that you could easily latch onto and be invested in.
Mm-hmm.
This is just
and it had Captain America in it.
Yeah, this is just a Frankenstein of a film with somebody as the main star that is not even Captain America.
And also be released at a time when Marvel was starting to pick up and Marvel was starting to really make a name for itself. It's not surrounded by years of garbage.
Yes, like I said, the director of this, who's only hired because he's black and it's a black character, the Cloverfield Paradox and some movie called Loose that came out, 5 years ago. Those are the only
Never
films
heard of
that he's directed. So, like I said, most people, he hasn't been, put it this way, he hasn't done anything that's actually good. There's 3 writers attached to this right now. You have Malcolm Spellman, who did the Winter Soldier Disney Plus show. As far as any actual movies that he's directed, the last one he did was Our Family Wedding, which is a romantic comedy from 2010. So he's responsible for that one. And then some other guy, Dylan Musum, who's also in that Falcon versus Winter Soldier. So they're basically hiring television writers to write a feature film that costs $375 million. And they somehow wonder why this whole thing is a disaster. I can't figure it out.
But remember, but remember, when the movie comes out, it's somehow going to be our fault that the movie's bad.
Yeah. Maybe Anthony Mackie is gonna do a rap video dissing his white haters because they didn't like.
Oh shit! Discourse.
It's like I said earlier, man. You know, like my uncle says about Star Wars. You know, I've got my Star Wars, you know, and that's all I need. I'm kind of the same way with Marvel at this point. I've got my Marvel MCU, you know, phases 1 through 3. I don't need any of this shit. Sorry.
In my canon, Thanos won with Infinity War.
Oh God!
Everything else after that's just been non-canon. It's not even acknowledged.
No, I'll throw Endgame in there. I like Endgame.
Well, just keep on coming up because we'll probably talk about this more on Tuesday. Marvel, I mean, it's been revealed that Marvel's going to go back to San Diego Comic-Con this year because obviously they have something to show, right? We really need to keep in mind they had a lot to show in 2022. A lot has changed since then, and then now they're coming back, and we're looking at them like, man, it has been an absolute train wreck since then.
Watch them show up to Comic-Con. They don't even announce anything. It's just Kevin Feige comes out on stage with a tombstone that has the words written on it that says Marvel 2008 to 2024.
Oh, shit. That would honestly be one of the greatest Comic-Con presentations ever if he ever did that.
It's a 5-second presentation. All those people showed up to see Kevin Feige. He was there for 5 seconds with a tombstone and he leaves.
You know, right now, comic book movies are so bad. We might as well just like set aside like $10-15 million. Let Xenoscope start making comic book movies at this point. They can't possibly be any worse than what else we're receiving right now. I mean, on the flip side, what else do you have? You have DC that's mortgaging its entire future on a James Gunn Superman movie, which means that if that film is not a smash hit, don't matter what he's doing over the next few years, it's all going to die.
It's kind of bad that Power Rangers has better storytelling at this point than the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
Digimon has better storytelling at this point. The Marvel said that the bar is low. The bar is way low.
The bar is really low.
The bar is almost a Little John song at this point.
When Nate mentioned Kevin Feige coming out, this man, Kevin Feige, is going to walk on stage hall on the fucking podium and go, "Hey, everyone, Captain America." And it's this fucking black guy. We're supposed to cheer like fucking seals. Bruh.
It would be funny if he actually did that. He came out, he said, "Hey everyone, Captain America, what do you think?" And it's just crickets chirping. Like nobody's saying anything or reacting.
Because that's the thing is, what are they gonna do? Because not even counting Captain America 4, Blade, disaster, Fantastic Four, they casted a fucking female Silver Surfer from the comics, but let's be honest, no one gives a fuck. That's not Norrin Rad.
I didn't even know she was a thing until someone.
Nobody
told
did.
Me.
We all looked her up. Nobody did. We all looked her up. So yeah, guys, Captain America 4 is shipping it to be a fucking complete disaster. Yeah, you know, I'm in the minority camp of liking that show, but like that show had a fair share of issues itself. You know, I want to say this: the suit change. Why did they change the suit? The suit in the show looked fine. It looked really good. They gave him some fucking suspenders and a fucking black shirt and some pants you can find at Walmart for like $20.
I guess once again they're trying to do the Winter Soldier thing of updating the suit. But the thing is, like you said, the suit in the show looked fine.
Looked great. Looked fine. Yeah. All right, Nate. What are your closing thoughts on Captain America 4 and the budget ballooning to be as bad as it is?
If it needs to make $1 billion to break even, they're about to. I hate to break it to them, they're about to lose a whole lot of money because there's a lot of movies in Hollywood, not just Marvel movies, that have not even been grossing,
anything.
200 million. They
Movies
haven't been
struggle to
grossing
barely
anything.
break even at this point now, people.
Deadpool and Wolverine is going to make money because people actually like Deadpool
Right.
and Wolverine, but nobody gives a fuck about Falcon as Captain America. I'm sorry. Nobody gives a shit about him. And the fact that this movie is going through so many rewrites, production problems, as well as reshoots, it's going to be a fucking disaster, dude. I'm estimating that this movie's not even going to break 50 million on its opening weekend. Like nobody
in a world where this movie might actually take in $300 million worldwide when it's over. It's all
I wouldn't even give him that. That's being nice. I'm telling you, nobody is tuning in to watch this. Nobody.
Dude, at this point, Kevin Feige should just come out to Hall H looking like a divorced dad. He just got cleaned out. It's like, just come out unshaven.
Dude, remember that?
Like, hey,
remember that interview he had with THR when he said they're going to shorten down the output of the MCU between television and film? He said, well, I like being the underdog. You're fucking lying. That's what you were before and you got out of it, you lying piece of shit. What?
Hold on. Walter said, if you don't care about the movie, why complain about the budget? Because they're spending so much money on shit that nobody fucking wants. That's why.
We're calling out somebody else's bad decision. I know, breaking news.
We're calling out somebody's stupidity and bad life choices.
Well, that's the thing, though. Let's say, for some reason, people might end up liking the movie. Movies are subjective,
if they like
right?
it, fine.
But no, but that's the problem is if the movie comes out and it's good and people like it subjectively, person to person, it's a different experience for each person. You're not going to get any more of it. It doesn't make any money to justify making more of it.
No,
it's a failure either way.
And the release during the release, it is literally going to be completely front loaded, and the people that are going to see it are probably going to be there just to kind of look at the accident on the highway. They just want to see the damage. How bad it really is this going to be, and it's not going to have good word of mouth. Disney's hopes to get even anything near $1 billion on any new movie release, besides the only one that possibly might break $1 billion, being Deadpool and Wolverine. They're kidding themselves with allowing the continuation of them reshooting and spending more money on something that's never going to make back its budget.
Yeah. Because people keep wondering why these movies are failing. They're spending money on characters that nobody fucking knows. Now, Captain America scared people know. We're talking about people know the white version of Captain America. That's the one they like. This one is
MSK is a secret Disney employee.
Jeez, I would get on my knees for all them hot ladies there, just saying. But yeah, that's the thing, is this movie's gonna probably end up being a walking failure. The budget is too big to make any profit back. Because remember, these guys are doing this, keep in mind, when we have these movie discussions, these movies are made to make profit, guys. Like, we might like them, but they're making these to make money. Actual profit, not breaking even. The surface number you see is not how much money the studio gets, okay? If anyone said that to you, they're retarded on levels that I cannot comprehend. You can't buy
strippers and cocaine with the money that this movie's going to make. Let's put it that way.
No, they started using payment plans for their crack.
Oh no! Oh no! PayPal.
You have to downgrade to Waffle House waitresses and fentanyl.
They're gonna have to take out credit and loan. They're gonna have to take out loans from credit unions just to
make credit unions. No, payday loan. Payday loan.
They're gonna have to go to get lunch from those Indian restaurants we saw earlier in the show.
Specifically, the guy that was cutting meat with his toenails.
They're gonna have to start doing those commercials and being like, "It's my money and I need it now."
Oh gosh! All right, society. Anything else you want to say before we close out of this one?
No, I mean, Disney's toast, dude. Like, even honestly, this is something that I even forgot to bring up earlier. Deadpool, right? The movie that we think is supposed to be, it's going to be successful. I don't know if it's going to be good, but that movie has 5 credited screenwriters. 5 people combined to write Deadpool and Wolverine. That's not even including the 2 guys who get, obviously the writing credits for creating the characters, right?
How many ghostwriters they hire,
5 screenwriters for this movie. And that's the best thing that they have coming out in the next 5 years. This thing is cooked.
Yep. So yeah, that's my thoughts on, Captain America 4, as you guys heard throughout the video. I just have no hope they're going to produce a good movie. The last one that I even enjoyed was No Way Home. I thought Shang-Chi was okay, and by okay, that's like a 6 out of 10. It was like okay. Everything else after that was bad. It's awful. I haven't seen Guardians 3 or Black Panther 2, so I can't speak to those. Or
You're not missing anything. You're not missing anything.
So, yeah, like I just can't see a world that makes any money back. Like, guys, factor movies struggle to even break even now. The point where they're getting thrown on streaming services within like a week.
You know what we need in Hollywood now? And I've joked about this for a while, but I'm actually starting to gaslight myself into believing this is a great idea. We need salary caps in Hollywood now. It's like, you know what? You're capped at like $20 million for a film. If you go over, your film doesn't get made. Like that's where I believe the line should be now.
You know what's crazy? They actually have unions for that, but they never even at any point.
Think about it like this, because even the film costing almost $400 million, like what did they possibly spend $400 million on? There's no stars in this movie. Like Anthony Mackie is the star of Captain America 4. It's not like you're paying like $50 million to Robert Downey Jr. or some others like Tom Cruise or something like that. It's Anthony Mackie, a bunch of television actors who are in like Disney Plus shows, and that's basically it.
I guess if you want to count Harrison Ford and Liv Tyler, but they are way past the point of being stars.
Yeah.
I mean, we hired a whole bunch of new people to be in the IRS. How are they not auditing Disney at this point, right? Because don't you think that there's something going on there, like behind the scenes? Like, how would you possibly spend $400 million on a movie starring Anthony Mackie? How?
I better see the best fucking action scenes in this movie if we got a $400 million budget.
I'm calling it right now. The action scenes in Ahsoka are probably better than the action scenes in this fucking movie, dude.
And with that said, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you are a returning viewer or a new viewer, please subscribe to the channel. If you have not already, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King. We're signing out, guys. Peace. Goodbye.